Hello, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is great to have you with us.
It really is.
Usually on this show, we are wading through, these thick stacks of research papers analyzing shifting geopolitical landscapes or deconstructing the latest breakthroughs in AI.
Yeah, the heavy stuff.
Exactly. We're used to complexity. We thrive on it. But today, I want to try something completely different. I want to look at something that appears on the surface to be incredibly simple.
Deceptively simple, I would say.
That's the perfect word for it. We have a set of source documents today titled Easy Conversation English. And really, it's a transcript. It's a dialogue between two characters, Emily and Paul. And if you just glance at it, it looks like a standard beginner's textbook. Short sentences, basic vocabulary. But our mission today is not to just read it. It is to analyze the architecture of identity.
The architecture of identity, I like that.
When you strip away all the jargon and the nuance, how do we, as human beings, actually signal who we are to one another?
That is the core question, isn't it?
Yeah.
We often assume that advanced communication means using big, impressive words.
Yeah.
But in these documents, and we're looking at V1 through V3 specifically, we see the raw mechanics of social connection.
Okay.
So we're going to treat Emily and Paul not as, cartoons in a textbook, but as complex case studies. We're going to look at their specific linguistic choices to understand how they build a bridge to a stranger.
So if you're a master of the English language, don't tune out. This is about the psychology of the first impression. And if you're a learner, maybe listening to this to improve your English, this is going to be the most granular analysis of the self-introduction you have ever heard.
We're really going to slow this down.
Way down. We're going to focus on clarity, on vocabulary, and the specific grammar structures that Emily and Paul use to, define their reality.
And we have the luxury of time today. We can linger on a single preposition or, the spelling of a name, because often that's where the real meaning lives.
All right, let's do it. Let's meet our subjects. Who are we? Who are we dissecting today?
We have two guides, essentially, Emily and Paul. And the source text presents them as models for, quote, perfect natural English. But as I was reading through the text, I started to see these two very distinct personality archetypes emerging.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they aren't just random voices. They represent two different ways of existing in the world.
Huh?
And by the end of this hour, you won't just know their names. The idea is that you'll have a template to slot your own life details into.
I love that concept, a template for life. So let's jump into the very first thing they talk about, the why. In the first document, V1, Emily kicks it off with a statement of purpose. She says, today we are learning the most important thing, how to talk about yourself.
The most important thing.
Yeah.
That's a heavy claim to make right at the start.
Is it, though? Or is that just, textbook hyperbole?
I really don't think it is. I mean, think about the friction of modern life. You walk into a conference, a party, a Zoom breakout room. The barrier to entry is high. If you cannot package your identity, your name, your history, your value into a digestible format in under 30 seconds, you just embist.
Oh.
You remain a stranger.
Right. You're just a face on a screen.
Exactly. So Emily is framing the self-introduction as the master key to social existence. If you get this wrong, nothing else really matters.
Okay, so let's see how they turn that key. Let's unpack section 1, the foundation. It starts with the most primal social contract we have.
The exchange of names.
It starts with the short form. Emily just says, I'm Emily, and Paul says, and I'm Paul.
Very standard, very friendly.
But then they immediately pivot to the formal.
Right. They don't stay at just I'm Paul. Paul expands. He says, my name is Paul Miller, and Emily counters with, and I'm Emily Chen.
Then they do something that I found this really interesting, especially given that this is supposed to be a natural conversation. They spell their names out loud. Paul says Miller.
And this is where we need to pause. Why is he doing that? I mean, in a casual chat at a coffee shop, you rarely spell your last name unprompted.
Unless you anticipate confusion.
Exactly. This signals a specific context. This isn't just a casual chat. This is a transaction of information. It mimics, say, an administrative encounter or maybe a formal business introduction where accuracy is paramount.
Right.
In English-speaking cultures, the burden of clarity is really on the speaker. Paul isn't waiting for you to ask, is that Miller with an R or an R? He is preemptively solving the problem.
It's a power move. In a way, it controls the narrative. He ensures that you, the listener, have zero doubt about who he is.
It is. And look at the rhythm, Miller. There's a certain cadence to it.
Yeah, there is.
For the listener trying to master this, it's not just about knowing the letters. It's about the delivery. He doesn't stumble. He knows his own data string. It suggests confidence.
Emily does the same.
Right.
Chen. Short, punchy.
And Chen is interesting here because it introduces the concept of checking for understanding. Chen can easily be misheard as Ken or pen over a bad phone line or in a noisy room, so spelling it is an act of courtesy. It tells the listener, I value your accurate understanding of who I am.
So the takeaway for our listeners here isn't just know your letters, it is anticipate the friction. If your name has a silent letter or a double letter like Miller, own it immediately. Don't make the other person work to know you.
Precisely. It lubricates the entire interaction.
Okay, so Paul wraps up this opening salvo with a sentiment. He says, we are so happy to start this new series with you.
And this is what linguists might call the effective bridge.
The effective bridge.
Yeah. In English introductions, purely factual data can be considered cold. I am Paul Miller. M-I-L-L-E-R. That's a robot. That's a police report.
Right.
You have to insert an emotion to bridge the gap between two humans. Happy to start. Glad to be here. Excited to meet you. It signals safety. It signals that this interaction is benevolent.
It sets the tone. Okay, we have names, we have safety. Now we move to the anchor of identity. Geography. Where do you belong? This is section 2 on our outline.
And this is where the source text, V1, drops a massive grammar bomb that also doubles as a philosophical stance.
I loved this part. Emily asks, pretty simply, Paul, where are you from?
And Paul gives a split answer. He says, I am from England, but I live in California now.
From versus live in.
This seems trivial, right?
Yeah.
But for a learner, or really for anyone navigating a mobile world, this distinction is everything.
How so?
Well, I am from utilizes the verb to be. It speaks to essence, origin. It is permanent. Paul's from England. He cannot change that. It's his factory setting, if you will.
But I live in uses a verb of action, to live.
Correct. It's his current state. It implies choice, or at least it implies temporality. I live in California. He could move tomorrow, but he will always be from England.
And Paul actually explicitly breaks this down in the text. He tells the listener, I am from is my home, but I live in is my house now.
That distinction between home and house it's almost poetic. Home is history, house is shelter.
I think that is a distinction that resonates with so many people today. You know, we move for work, we move for love, but we carry our from with us.
Absolutely.
And Emily mirrors this structure perfectly. She says, I am from Canada and I live in New York.
So we have two transplants, two expats. This is crucial for the narrative we're building about them. Neither of them is on their home turf. They are both navigating new environments.
And how they describe those environments tells us a lot about who they are. Let's look at the adjectives they choose. This is where their personality profiles really start to diverge.
Yeah, they do.
Emily is in New York. How does she paint it?
She says New York is very big and busy.
Big and busy.
It is almost aggressive, isn't it? Busy is such a sensory word. You hear the sirens, you feel the crowded sidewalk. It suggests a high-stimulus environment.
She doesn't say it is cultural or it is exciting.
No, she focuses on the sheer volume of activity.
Now, compare that to Paul in California.
It's a whole different world. He says California is very sunny. It's perfect for the beach.
Sunny, beach.
It is a completely different frequency. Paul is signaling relaxation, warmth, openness. Emily is signaling density, activity, scale.
It starts to form that contrast, right? The busy city versus the sunny coast.
And notice the grammar linking that Paul uses. He says it is sunny, which makes it perfect for the beach. He links the condition, the weather, to the utility, the leisure activity.
That's a sophisticated way to describe a place.
It really is. You don't just say it is hot. You say it is hot so we can swim. You give the listener a reason to care about the adjective you chose.
That's a great tip. Don't just list attributes, list affordances. What does the place allow you to do?
Exactly. If I say my city is crowded, that just sounds like a complaint. But if I say my city is crowded so the nightlife is amazing, that's a selling point.
Okay, so we have our geography established. We have the busy city and the sunny coast. Now we move into V2 of the source text and the inevitable next question.
What do you do?
In American and British culture, this is usually the second or third question asked, right? We define ourselves by our economic output.
We really do. Paul asks it directly, what do you do? And Emily answers first. I am a graphic designer.
And she spells it D-E-S-I-G-N-E-R.
Yes.
Now, unlike Miller or Chen, designer is a common noun. Why do you think she spells it?
Because English is a linguistic thief. I mean, we stole the word design from French and Latin roots, and we kept the silent G. Phonetically, it makes no sense. Design. If you have never seen it written, you would never guess there's the G in there. Emily is highlighting the trap. She is being a good guide.
She's flagging the irregularity. I like that. But then she defines the job. She doesn't assume Paul knows what a graphic designer is. She says, I make art on my computer.
This brings us back to that concept of plain English. She strips away all the pretension. She doesn't say, I curate visual assets for brand identity. She says, I make art on my computer. It is tangible. Even a child would understand that description.
And then, and I think this is where her personality really starts to shine, she describes the environment. She says, I work from home, so it is very quiet.
There's that word again. Quiet.
She lives in New York, which she just called big and busy. But her microenvironment, her workspace, is quiet.
It suggests a sanctuary. She has carved out a little bubble of silence in the middle of all that chaos.
Right.
And notice the preposition, work from home. This text is clearly modern. 10 years ago, we might have said, I work at home, which implies a homemaker or maybe a tradesperson with a workshop. Work from home implies that telecommuting connection.
The office is elsewhere. She is just logging in from here.
Precisely.
That connects the job, the computer, to the location, home. It paints a very specific picture of her day. Sitting at a desk, silence, focused on a screen. Now let's look at Paul, the foil.
The foil, yes.
He's an English teacher.
A bit of a meta choice for the source material, obviously, but let's look at how he describes it.
He says, I work in a school with many students. And his description, it is very noisy but very fun.
The but is doing so much work there.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, noisy is generally a negative adjective in a work context. It implies distraction, headache, chaos. If he stopped there, it is very noisy. He sounds like he hates his job.
True.
But he pivots. Noisy, but very fun. He's reframing the chaos as energy. He thrives in it.
This just cements the contrast, doesn't it, Emily? Work from home, computer, quiet, Paul, school, many students, noisy, fun.
It is the introvert versus extrovert spectrum perfectly mapped out. Emily interacts with a machine in silence. Paul interacts with a crowd and the noise.
And yet they are having this perfectly balanced conversation. It shows that you don't need to match energies to connect. You just need to share the data clearly.
Exactly. And Paul offers some other options for you, the listener. He asks, are you a student, a doctor, an engineer?
Why those three specific jobs, do you think?
I think they covered the main sectors of status vocabulary that learners often want to grab first. We have education, medicine, and technology. They are universal archetypes.
Okay, so we know who they are and where they are. Now we get to the part that usually trips people up. Not because of the vocabulary, but because of the grammar structure itself. Section 4, the grammar of age.
Ah, yes, the to be versus to have war.
In the text, Emily asks, how old are you? Paul answers, I am 32 years old. But he doesn't stop there. He breaks the fourth wall. He talks directly to the audience and says, in English we say I am 32, not I have 32.
This is arguably the most valuable single sentence in the entire transcript for a non-native speaker.
Why is this specific error so common?
It's because of the influence of Romance languages mostly. In Spanish, you say, tengo 32 años, I have 32 years. In French, j'ai 32 ans, I have them.
So in those cultures, time is a possession.
It's a possession. You have accumulated these years. They are in your pocket. You own them.
But not in English.
No. In English, age is an adjective. It is a state of being. You are 32. It's just like you were tall or you were hungry. You don't possess the years. The years define your current form.
It's a complete shift in mindset. You become the number.
You do. I am 32. It's an identity statement, not an inventory statement.
And Emily confirms this. She says, I am 27 years old.
And notice the age gap. Paul is 32. Emily is 27. It's slight, but it places them in slightly different life stages. Paul is deep in his career. Emily is perhaps a bit newer to the big and busy city.
Yeah.
It adds this subtle layer of maybe a mentor-mentee or older brother, younger sister dynamic to their conversation.
Which is a perfect segue because that concept of older comes up again immediately when they start talking about family in V3.
Yes, section 5, family structures. This is where the introduction goes from census data to personal story.
So the question is simple. Do you have a big family?
A classic conversation starter.
Paul answers first. He says, I have 2 brothers, Mark and David. They're both older than me.
Older than me. That's the comparative structure. But psychologically, what is Paul telling us here?
He's the baby of the family.
He is the youngest of 3 boys, Mark, David, and little Paul.
Does that track with his personality? The noisy but fun guy.
I think it tracks 100%. The youngest child is often the one fighting for attention, the one who learns to navigate the noise, the one who becomes the teacher or the performer.
That's a great point.
He's used to the chaos of a house with 3 boys. He considers noise to be fun because that is what he grew up with.
That is a fascinating read. And then we have Emily. She says, I have one younger sister named Sarah.
So she is the older sister, the responsible one, the one who moves to New York to be a graphic designer. She's the one setting the path.
And she gives us a detail about Sarah. She says, she is a nurse.
And this is the hook. If she just said, I have a sister, the conversation dies. By adding she is a nurse, she gives Paul something to grab onto. He could ask, oh, does she work in a hospital? Or does she like it?
It's a gift to your conversational partner. Always give a detail.
Right. Don't just list the humans in your life. Characterize them. Give them a dimension.
Emily immediately pivots from her sister to another member of her household. She says, and I also have a cat.
Section 6. The pets. In the hierarchy of English small talk, pets are often elevated to the same status as siblings.
It really seems so. So tell me about the cat.
Her name is Lily.
Oh.
And the description is perfect for Emily. She says Lily is very lazy and sleeps all day.
Lazy. It is usually an insult. If I called you lazy, you'd be offended.
Of course. But applied to a cat, it's a compliment. It implies luxury. It implies peace. And it matches Emily's quiet work-from-home life. You can just picture it.
You can. She sits in her computer making art, and Lily sleeps on the sofa next to her. It's a completely cohesive image.
It is.
And Paul?
Paul, consistent with his high-energy, noisy school persona, has a dog.
Of course he does.
His name is Cooper, and Paul spells it out. C-O-O-P-E-R. And he points out the double O pronunciation pattern there for the listener.
And Cooper is, let me guess, not lazy.
Far from it. Paul describes him as big, friendly, and the key activity. He loves to run.
The contrast is just. It's comical at this point. Emily is in a quiet apartment with a sleeping cat. Paul is running on the beach with a big dog after a noisy day at school.
It's almost too perfect. But it teaches the listener about adjective alignment. You pick the words that fit the vibe. You don't describe a cat as active and friendly, usually, and you don't describe a golden retriever as lazy and quiet.
Right.
You use the vocabulary that fits the energy of your life.
Let's look at the final layer of the introduction. We have name, place, job, age, family, pet. What is left?
How you waste your time.
Uh-huh.
Hobbies, section 7.
Paul asks, what do you like to do for fun?
Or, what are your hobbies? He offers both phrasings. One is casual, for fun. One is more formal, hobbies.
Paul goes first. I love cooking Italian food. My favorite is pasta.
Specificity again. Not just cooking, but Italian. Not just Italian, but pasta.
Why does that matter? Why not just say cooking?
Because I like cooking is a generic wall. It tells me nothing. Do you microwave meals? Do you grill? But I like making pasta. Creates an image. You can picture the flour, the messy kitchen, the boiling water.
It invites the other person to say, oh, I love lasagna.
Exactly. It creates surface area for connection.
And it fits his provider-teacher archetype. He feeds people. He likes the communal aspect of food.
He does. And Emily?
Emily says, I love hiking, and she spells it, H-I-K-I-N-G.
The drop the E rule. Hike becomes hiking. That's a good little spelling tip to sneak in there.
She defines it as walking in the mountains, and then she gives the reason. This is the part I liked best. She says, it helps me relax.
Cause and effect. The activity is the mechanism. The feeling is the goal.
And it circles all the way back to her core need. Quiet. Relaxation. She escapes the big and busy New York to walk in the mountains.
It completes the profile. We have a fully three-dimensional character now, built entirely out of beginner English sentences.
It is amazing how much information you can pack into simple grammar if you just choose the right words. Let's review that full picture before we wrap up.
Okay. On one side, we have Emily.
Emily Chen, C-H-E-N.
Canada.
New York, which she describes as big and busy.
Graphic designer, D-E-S-I-G-N-E-R.
Work from home, so it's quiet.
27. I am not, I have.
One younger sister, Sarah, who is a nurse.
Lily the cat, who is lazy and sleeps all day.
Hiking, because it helps her relax.
A complete person.
Yeah.
And on the other side,
Paul Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R.
England.
California, which is sunny and perfect for the beach.
English teacher.
A school, so it's noisy but fun.
32.
Two older brothers, Mark and David.
Cooper the dog, who is big, friendly, and loves to run.
Cooking Italian food, specifically pasta.
It is so impressive. So what does this mean for the person listening to us right now? If they are sitting there, maybe realizing their own introductions are a bit flat, what do?
They need to build their own Emily and Paul template. We've really extracted a checklist from the source material.
Okay, let's run through it.
Number 1, the name. Don't just say it. Own the spelling if it's tricky. Control the clarity from the very beginning.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Geography. Master that from versus live in distinction. Are you a local or are you a transplant? And use an adjective that tells us why we should care about your city.
Number 3, the job. Don't use a jargon-filled title. Explain what you actually do. I make art on my computer, I work with students, and describe the environment. Is it noisy? Is it quiet?
Number 4, age. You are the number. You don't have the number. That's a big one.
Huge. Number 5, the clan, family and pets. But never just a list. It has to be a name plus a detail. My sister the nurse, my dog the runner.
And lastly, the passion. What do you do for fun, and more importantly, why? Does it help you relax? Is it exciting? What's the feeling it gives you?
If you hit those 6 points, you haven't just introduced yourself. You've told a story.
In the text, Emily gives a final piece of advice. She says, practice saying your job out loud.
It sounds so obvious, but the mouth is a muscle. You can read graphic designer 1,000 times, but until you physically maneuver your tongue around the phi sound and the gene sound, you don't really own the word.
And they give a call to action at the end. Go to the comments and introduce yourself in English.
We don't have a comment section right here in your ear, but the advice stands. Write it down, record a voice memo on your phone, pretend you are talking to Paul, tell him about your lazy dog.
It's all about bridging that gap between passive listening and active production.
Exactly.
I want to leave the listener with a final provocative thought based on this study. We saw 2 very distinct paths, Emily's quiet focused life and Paul's noisy social life.
Right.
If you, the listener, had to choose just one word to describe the atmosphere of your life right now, is it busy? Is it quiet? Is it noisy? Is it sunny?
Finding that one anchor adjective is the first step to building a real introduction. It gives you your theme.
I think I'm with Paul. I like the noise. I like the energy.
And I might be an Emily. Give me the mountains and the silence any day.
And that's why we make a good team on a deep dive.
Balance.
Emily and Paul sign off with bye-bye, goodbye, and they remind us to keep practicing.
Simple advice, the best kind.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of easy conversation English. It's been a pleasure unpacking these sentences with you.
It really has. Remember, language is a bridge. Build it strong.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.